Understanding vulnerability in relationships, what women really want. Let's explore a common relationship challenge: the disconnect between a woman's desire for vulnerability in her partner and her negative reaction when he actually opens up. Many women express a wish for their men to be more open, sharing their feelings, seeking help, and showing vulnerability. However, when a man attempts this, the woman might respond with coldness, distance, sexual unresponsiveness, or even anger. This leaves both partners confused. Why does a woman seemingly want something and then react so negatively when she gets it? There's a logical explanation. To illustrate, let's examine a comment from a viewer of my previous video, linked below for those new to the channel. I help men understand women better to improve their relationships. The commenter describes a situation where he struggles to share his problems and weaknesses with his partner, fearing it will make him seem less attractive. His partner, however, frequently shares her own struggles and encourages him to do the same. When he finally hesitates to admit a problem, she expresses frustration, suggesting his reluctance shows immaturity. He responds by explaining he prefers to handle things independently, not wanting to burden her, but she interprets this as a lack of maturity. 3 days of silence follow, a common pattern in their communication, where periods of silence are often unexplained and later attributed to something he said or didn't say. He's unsure how to proceed, fearing appearing weak or reinforcing a pattern where he initiates reconciliation. This situation highlights a crucial misunderstanding: both partners need empathy. The core issue is a lack of understanding regarding the different types of vulnerability. While the man's concern is valid, many women are turned off by what I call weak vulnerability. It's important to distinguish this from strong vulnerability. Weak vulnerability stems from a place of negativity, resentment, or self-pity. It's a plea for attention or sympathy without taking responsibility. Strong vulnerability, conversely, arises from a place of love, compassion, courage, and accountability. It's about owning one's feelings and seeking support from a place of strength, not weakness. For example, instead of saying, "I'm such a failure, I can't do anything right," a man displaying strong vulnerability might say, "I'm struggling with this project at work, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Could you help me brainstorm some solutions?" The difference lies in the approach: one is self-deprecating and demanding, the other is proactive and collaborative. In the commenter's situation, his silence wasn't necessarily a sign of strength or independence, but rather a manifestation of fear. His fear of appearing weak led him to withdraw, triggering his partner's frustration. She, in turn, might have misinterpreted his silence as disinterest or rejection, leading to her own withdrawal. Understanding the nuances of vulnerability, and recognizing the difference between weak and strong expressions, is key to resolving this kind of conflict. Open communication, where both partners feel safe to express their needs and concerns without fear of judgment, is essential. His partner's frustration likely stems from a desire for connection and shared responsibility, not a rejection of his strength. Learning to express vulnerability in a strong, healthy way will likely lead to a more fulfilling and supportive relationship. Fear and dependency often play significant roles in relationships. While women may exhibit a broader spectrum of vulnerabilities, many men tend to be drawn to women who display courage and take responsibility for their actions. I have previously released videos that delve deeper into the distinctions between strong and weak vulnerabilities in men, complete with examples. For those interested, I will provide links to those videos at the end of this discussion. If you have been following my content for a while, you might have heard me mention the concept of mother mode suppressing lover mode. This phrase means that if a woman feels the need to care for her partner as if he were a dependent child, she will shift into a caregiver role, which can diminish her feelings of intimacy. Consequently, this can lead to a lack of sexual connection. Some women can manage this dynamic for a limited time, while others may struggle with it more significantly. The longer a man remains in what she perceives as a state of dependency, often referred to as weak vulnerability, the more challenging it becomes for her to return to her lover mode. Eventually, she might conclude that the passion has faded permanently. When a woman enters mommy mode, she often fully embraces that role, which can manifest as agitation, bossiness, or a controlling demeanor. A crucial point to understand is that when a woman asks about what is troubling you, she is subconsciously assessing whether you are addressing your issues proactively. Her interest in your struggles stems from genuine care for you, as well as concern for how your challenges impact her and her relationship with you. This concern is entirely valid. If you find yourself unable or unwilling to share your troubles, you are also withholding information about how you are managing those issues. This lack of communication can lead her to speculate and fill in the gaps with worst-case scenarios, as she feels the need to prepare for any potential danger. Unlike men, many women find relief in discussing their problems. Therefore, when a man does not express what is bothering him, she may unconsciously perceive it as a more significant threat to both his and her emotional or physical safety. For women, a primary need in relationships is safety and security. In contrast, men often tackle minor issues by oscillating between internal contemplation and engaging in activities that provide a mental break, allowing them to process their thoughts and find solutions. Unless a problem is of catastrophic proportions, most men prefer to handle challenges independently. If a woman withdraws instead of adopting a controlling demeanor, it may be because she is feeling anxious and needs to sort through her own thoughts and emotions regarding your unexpressed feelings. She might also interpret your reluctance to share as a lack of trust in her, which can create a sense of distance between you two. While you may believe you are shielding her from unnecessary worry, she may feel even more anxious about your unwillingness to open up. So, what is the solution? I'm glad you asked. While men and women share many emotional and physical needs in relationships, there are notable differences. Recognizing these differing needs is the first step toward preventing unnecessary conflict in your relationship. It's essential to find a quieter environment with less wind, sunlight, and noise to facilitate open communication. Now that you have a better understanding of these differences, let's revisit the key points of the situation. The man in question was struggling to articulate his problems and vulnerabilities, fearing that women prefer strong partners. He was apprehensive about revealing his weaknesses, worried that doing so might make him less attractive. In their conversations, she often shared her own struggles and encouraged him to do the same. This dynamic naturally led to his reluctance to open up, as she seemed to expect him to express his feelings in a manner similar to hers, which is often associated with a more traditionally feminine approach. He later expressed that she was frustrated by his unwillingness to discuss his issues and accept assistance. He chose to remain silent, preferring to manage his challenges independently. She interpreted his silence as a sign that he was not truly addressing his problems, suggesting that his reluctance to talk about them indicated a level of immaturity. He clarified that he was indeed aware of his issues and simply did not want to burden her with them. For many women, the initial step in addressing problems is to talk them through, leading her to assume that if he is not vocal about his struggles, he is also not actively working on them. While it is true that acknowledging a problem is not the same as taking steps to resolve it, it is important to recognize that some men may need time to reflect before they can find a solution. Men often prefer to tackle their own challenges, especially if the situation does not feel overwhelmingly dire. They may feel less masculine if they have to seek help. A crucial point to consider is that if a woman adopts a nurturing or motherly role with a man, it can inadvertently push him into a more childlike state, where both his masculine strength and her feminine gentleness are diminished, leading to discomfort for both parties. Women generally feel more secure when they have some insight into the situation and can see that their partner is taking initiative to find a resolution. This reassurance comes from knowing that he will reach out for help if necessary. It is essential for women to trust that their partners will figure things out or approach them when needed, without belittling them or offering unsolicited advice, and to maintain a sense of tenderness in their interactions. He also mentioned that it is not unusual for her to go through periods of silence without providing a reason. When communication resumes, she often references something he said or did, or sometimes what he failed to do, as the cause of her silence. This pattern can stem from misunderstandings related to their differing attachment styles or, in some cases, from extreme personality traits that are not easily resolved. However, in this instance, it is clear that they need to engage in a conversation. He expressed uncertainty about how to move forward, feeling caught between a fear of avoidance and the dilemma of whether to initiate a conversation to break the silence. He worried that doing so might make him seem weak, reinforcing that perception. Understanding each other's attachment styles can be beneficial in navigating conflicts. While I have emphasized in previous discussions the importance of not rewarding negative behavior, it is equally vital to approach these situations with empathy, recognizing that no one is perfect. None of us have been taught the intricacies of relationships, and unless there are significant red flags present, it is important to foster understanding and communication. When interacting with someone experiencing personality disorders such as narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, or borderline personality disorder, BPD, approaching them with empathy, courage, and personal responsibility creates the foundation for constructive dialogue. For instance, you might say, "I recognize this might be a challenging time for you, and I respect your need for space. Whenever you feel ready, I'd like us to have an open conversation about building deeper trust and connection. My goal is for both of us to feel emotionally secure in our relationship." This type of compassionate framing mirrors the mutual understanding most people desire in healthy relationships. If you're finding this perspective helpful, I invite you to explore my other resources on developing authentic emotional resilience in relationships. Your engagement through likes, subscriptions, or shares makes this content accessible to others navigating similar challenges. Feel free to suggest topics you'd like covered in future videos through the comments. Your input directly shapes the supportive community we're building here. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributes through Super Thanks, PayPal support, or simply by being part of this journey. Wishing you warmth and growth as we continue learning together.